A warm welcome to our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. You're watching The World Today. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Our top stories this half hour. Israeli cabinet set to vote on the Gaza deal that will bring a ceasefire and hostages release within days. Relief crews in Gaza celebrate ceasefire after Israel and Hamas agree to first phase. Plus, former South African President Thabo Mbeki urges global cooperation to curb illicit financial flows to drive Africa's development. Let's begin The World Today. A major breakthrough has been reached in the war between Israel and Hamas, with both sides agreeing to the first phase of a ceasefire peace deal in Gaza. U.S. President Donald Trump announced the agreement following days of intense negotiations in Egypt, mediated by the U.S., Qatar, and Turkey. He is expected to visit Israel and Egypt only as part of a Middle East trip. President Trump had yesterday suggested he might travel to the Middle East towards the end of the week. Under the deal, Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners will be released. Israeli forces will withdraw from Gaza and humanitarian aid will be allowed into the Strip. The U.S. says all Israeli hostages will be released on Monday. Israel's government is now meeting to discuss the Gaza ceasefire plans ahead of a vote. Approval of the deal would see a ceasefire come into effect immediately. Hamas has also confirmed its approval, but says it has not yet received the final list of prisoners Israel plans to release. Celebrations have broken out in Gaza and across Israel as families of hostages praise the breakthrough. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the agreement a great day for his country.
President Trump, you have the best crowd in the world. What do you guys have to say to President Trump?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
You did it!
You did it! Thank you!
This is amazing. Mr. President, we believe in you. We know you've done so much for us over the past, since you became a president, and even before that. And we trust you fulfill the mission until every hostage, every 48 of the hostages are home. Thank you so much. Blessed be the peacemakers.
God bless you, Mr. President. God bless America.
Thank you very much. You just take care of yourselves. The hostages will come back. They're all coming back on Monday.
And from Jerusalem to Gaza and even Strasbourg, celebrations have broken out following news of the historic ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. In Jerusalem, many describe the announcement of the ceasefire as the best news they've heard in 2 years. One respondent in Jerusalem praised President Trump's role, saying he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for his mediation efforts.
We're very happy to hear that. It's about time after 2 years. We want our people back. But we're not sure it's real yet because we don't see them physically here. When we see him here, we'll be very happy. I don't know if the timing is to announce who's going to get the prize, but he's a big factor for this treaty. He did a lot of work to make it happen. And I hope he succeeds and he's going to get the prize.
This is one of the best news we can hear after two years. And we are very happy. It's a peace process is come. And we want to continue with that. I think he do something. It's most important. Indeed, he do, and he will peace. And if he get peace Nobel, it's okay. Why not? He did it. He get it. Very easy.
In Gaza, however, ambulance and civil defense crews did rejoice after the announcement of the latest ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Paramedics and civil defense workers all celebrated with religious rituals, prostrating in gratitude to God, some chanting religious hymns and others distributing sweets as vehicles paraded through the city.
Thank you, Madam President.
In the European Parliament, Italian MEP Nicola Procaccini has praised President Donald Trump for securing the ceasefire deal. Addressing lawmakers in Strasbourg, Procaccini said the chamber has gotten used to bad news, but they can join the celebrations of people in the streets of Tel Aviv and Gaza.
Thank you, Madam President. In this chamber, we are used to deliver bad news. Today, however, we can all join the celebrations of the people in the streets of Tel Aviv and Gaza. A few minutes ago, a peace agreement was signed. Donald Trump has made it. Despite all the bias against him, he succeeded. And this reaffirms a long tradition. Conservative American presidents hand the wars rather than start them. So long live peace in Israel and Palestine.
Thank you. All right.
Switching gears now, this week, the Commonwealth is training senior judges from Nigeria in the Ghanaian capital, Accra, to help them better adjudicate cyber crime cases. Participants of the ongoing training are judges of Nigerian federal high courts. The purpose is to equip the judges who are part of the joint case team on cybercrime to handle cybercrime cases. The initiative is supported by the Commonwealth Secretariat, the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, and the UK National Crime Agency as part of a broader effort to combat cybercrimes.
That report, we have gone there, this is that, and they will release us.
Joining us now to discuss the training and the benefits is Senior Research Officer, Commonwealth Secretariat, Dr. Nkechi Amobi. She joins us from Accra, Ghana. Dr. Nkechi, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you, Amara. It's a pleasure to be here.
A pleasure to have you. How expansive is this training for the judges?
The training is mainly introductory. It's basically focusing on creating awareness for the judges on the different types of cyber crimes and the different technologies as well, such as computer-related offenses and technology-generated gender-based violence against women and girls, as well as child online safety. Also, the judges are being put through international laws such as the Budapest Convention, regional laws, and national laws. And as you noted, we're here in Accra because it's a combined training. For yesterday, we had training for our JCTC judges, which was predominantly based on the Cybercrime Act of 2015. Today, it's a collaborative training whereby we're training them and the judges in Accra, Ghanaian judges, so basically focusing on the Cybersecurity Act 2020, Ghanaian Cybersecurity Act, as well as the Nigerian Act. So judges are being upskilled in understanding how to admit electronic evidence. So some of the issues that we note that judges struggle to know how to authenticate electronic evidence, how to verify chain of custody, and how to admit expert testimony and digital forensics. So these are some of the things that the judges are being upskilled in the training, as well as the role of mutual legal assistance and cross-border, the role of cross-border cooperation in terms of fighting cybercrime, as it's a borderless crime.
Now, the aspects that you've mentioned, do they pose the biggest challenges for judges, especially here in Nigeria?
So, admitting electronic evidence is a problem. So whilst I probably may not speak specifically to Nigeria, but at the Commonwealth, as we represent 56 independent countries, what we have noticed in the past 3 years, we've trained in over 10 countries, and we've upskilled over 2,000 criminal justice officials. So some of the challenges that we've noticed that judges have is, and I say this with all due respect, is technology illiteracy. So they may be very knowledgeable in different areas of the law, But when it comes to technology, in terms of authenticating electronic evidence, for them to know, to verify the integrity of evidence that's been adduced in court, we've upskilled them in things like hashing. It's like a mathematical algorithm, like a fingerprint, in order for you to know that data that's been adduced in court is authentic data. So it is a challenge when you cannot verify the authenticity of electronic evidence. So these are some of the things that we've noticed, as well as how to admit cross-border information or data. So it would be a challenge in every Commonwealth country. That's why we're upskilling the criminal justice officials.
Yeah, I imagine it will be. Cybercrime still remains a major problem here in Nigeria. Not often do we hear, these cases going to court. So could you attribute the fact that, we really don't hear about these cases, or the fact that they are not adjudicated on, could that be attributed to the laxity of the domestic laws, or the fact that the judiciary is not fully equipped to handle such cases?
I will not say that it's, well, first thing first, I'll say that Nigeria has made commendable strides in terms of establishing robust legal frameworks. So we do have lots of laws, but if we have adjudicated few cybercrime cases in Nigeria, it probably will be as a result of the evolving nature of cybercrime. So what we're doing in terms of building the capacity of the judicial officers is to help them identify that cybercrime, it's, when you think about cybercrime, you think it has to have the tag cybercrime. Certain things fall under the remit of cybercrime, things to do with personal data, challenges on how to balance human rights against public security or national security. So this could be some of the challenges why it's been a little bit difficult to pinpoint cases that have been adjudicated. And also the fact that, again, not peculiar to Nigeria, but we've noticed this across the Commonwealth. A lot of agencies work in silos. So there's a need for inter-regional collaboration amongst different actors, that could fight cybercrime. So which is why the JCTC, which is the Joint Case Team on Cybercrime, is quite timely. It was established under the Attorney General's office, and it has different agencies. So I know we've got the EFCC, probably don't really know the full name of the names of a lot of the agencies. There's NAPTIN, there's the Office of the National Security, we've got the Federal Ministry of Justice, we've got the Financial Intelligence Unit, we've got the police, and I don't know if I've left, and then the Federal High Court. So if we have all these important actors enabling a seamless prosecution of cybercrime, where we have the investigators and the prosecutors, which will then lead to a speedy delivery of justice for the victims of cybercrime, as well as the criminal actors as well, meting out appropriate judgment, I think we will probably see more cases being adjudicated under cybercrime. So that's why it's wonderful that we're upskilling some of our Federal High Court judges here in Ghana. And they have actually expressed the interest that they would want to be able to cascade the training that they've learned here. So, thinking about training them further to an advanced level, whereby they then go back to Nigeria. Right. Or it's not going to be done today, but, whereby they can then cascade the training and more judges understand how to, adjudicate cases of cybercrime. And then possibly at that point, hopefully, we'll hear more cases that have been adjudicated on cybercrime.
And it will be quite easy to measure what progress they have made based on what they have learned, because there will be cases coming up in the courts that they will have to adjudicate. Thank you so much, Dr. Nkechi Amobi, for joining us on The World today.
Pleasure to be. Thank you very much.
South Africa's former president, Thabo Mbeki, has called for stronger global collaboration to help Africa retain more of its wealth for development, industrialization, and inclusive growth. He was speaking at the 13th Pan-African Conference on Illicit Financial Flows and Taxation, held under the theme Honoring a Legacy, Building a Future. Our correspondent, Innocent Samosa, has more.
The conference brings together policy makers, tax experts, civil society representatives, academic and development partners to review the progress made since the landmark high-level panel report exploring innovative strategies to curb illicit financial flows and promote tax justice across Africa. In his keynote address, South Africa's former President Thabo Mbeki reflected on the progress that Africa has made in curbing illicit financial flows over the past decade.
Our panel was therefore very happy that Africa's most senior political leadership, meeting in an African Union Assembly of Heads of State and Government in January 2015, adopted the panel's report, including its recommendations. It was and remains of great importance that this Assembly, African Union Assembly, adopted a special declaration on illicit financial flows.
Delegate says progress has been made in curbing illicit financial flows over the past decade, but much more still needs to be done.
$5.4 billion have been assessed in terms of tax, and 2.5 have actually been collected. $200.5 billion is in the bank. So for me, they may be little steps, but they are steps in the right direction. But in terms of the slow uptake, there are some solutions that we have all developed together, and these haven't been adapted by countries. So I would really call upon you, ladies and gentlemen of the press, to try and actually, make so much noise about this. There are solutions.
But there has been progress, and in terms of the way forward, I think continuing to have awareness and mobilization is one of the things we need to do. And yes, this is happening at different levels as well. To speak to your point, I personally have engaged with trade unions in my own country at that lower level and showing them how this thing relates to them, and they understand it.
Some say stronger collaboration amongst nations is key to boost tax justice across Africa.
It's time for nations to write laws that say, in the business of import and export of goods or services or intangibles, to price a transaction in such a way as to intentionally avoid income taxes or excise taxes or customs duties or any other form of government revenue is illegal.
As discussions wrap up, delegates agree that curbing illicit financial flows will require not only stronger policies, but also united action to ensure Africa's wealth truly benefits its people. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Zamosa, Channels Television News.
Let's go to Europe now, where almost 4 years after starting the war in Ukraine, Russia keeps fighting aggressively, and they're using drones for it. However, unmanned aircraft have not only targeted the neighboring country, but have also breached other European countries' airspace, including Germany's. The DW's Lars Halter joins me now with more from Berlin. Lars, great to see you. What is the current situation there? Where have you seen these drones?
Yeah, thanks for having me. They've actually been all over the place. In Munich in southern Germany, drone sightings have led to the airport there closing for 2 days in a row over separate drone sightings, mind you. And while that's been annoying for thousands of travelers, of course, who were stuck at the terminal, it's a lot worse when you look at this as what it really is. Not so much an inconvenience, but an act of aggression, a provocation at best, and a security threat at worst. Moving up the map towards northern Germany, drones were seen flying over military sites, over power plants, shipyards. Now, that's all critical infrastructure, of course. While the government hasn't officially blamed anyone for the drone flights yet, it seems pretty clear to experts that they're coming from Russia. Some were likely launched from ships anchoring outside German waters. We do know that Russia is using ever more drones against Ukraine too, with hundreds of them out just last weekend and firing brutal attacks. So it seems pretty clear where they're coming from.
Yes, and what is Germany actually doing about these attacks? Are the drones being shut down?
Yeah, that's indeed a big question. It is not entirely clear what the exact motive is. Obviously, there haven't been any attacks, and Russia would certainly not attack Germany, I guess, because an attack against a NATO country would be a terrible escalation of the current situation. Of course, we've seen some smaller attacks and some damage to houses just across the eastern border of Poland. So no, they haven't, but that question has been raised by many. Why are we not just shooting them down? And here's the frustrating answer. Apparently, we can't. First of all, it's not without major risk to shoot down drones over populated areas. And then we lack the equipment and the expertise. And in a way, it's long been unclear who is even in charge. The military can't be used within the country by law, and the police doesn't have what they need. Now, Berlin is working hard on clearing all that up. The Interior Secretary has now said he's making sure that the military can actually support police easier, and generally an entire drone defense is now being built up, but that's late, and that's going to be likely including transmission jammers, laser systems, microwave technology, even net launchers for smaller drones. And not only Germany is acting, of course, because other European countries are vulnerable too, and that's why the EU is investing 250 million euros in drone defense. And Berlin is taking this really very seriously. Just last week, Chancellor Friedrich Merz commented on the situation, and he said what we're seeing right now is not war, but it's also no longer peace.
Really fine lines. The Russians are threading there with Germany. Lars, thanks again for joining us on the program. Well, as we end, Nigerians are still in celebration mode across the world. We saw celebrations in Johannesburg the other day, this time in Pretoria, Nigerians marking the nation's 65th independence anniversary. Our correspondent Innocent Amosa has more.
Nigerians living in South Africa painted Pretoria green and white as they came together to celebrate the country's 65th independence anniversary. I captured the spirit of the celebration and hear what this milestone means to Nigerians in the diaspora.
It means a lot for me. Just to compare, a 65 years old child. So Nigeria is not just it's not just about the age. It's about that it's a giant of Africa with at all ramifications. Now, it's actually for us in diaspora a time to sit back and think where we took this nation from till date.
We must build on our resilience, we must build on our unity and build a more viral and progressive nation. And I really would want every one of us as Nigerians to come together, ignore the differences that we have. There's so much we can accommodate together and make our country a great nation. That's what I wish for our country.
I don't want to be there. Our spiritual leaders. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. Yeah, but I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there.
Some believe Nigeria has lived up to its potential over the years, but much more still needs to be done.
Absolutely. Nigeria has a lot of challenges, but if you look from independence and you follow the trends, of course, a lot of people want Nigeria to be in a better position. But I think when you look pre-independence where we are, we have lived, considerably close to our potential.
65 years is not a joke. It's nearing retirement. In fact, it's actually retirement. I'm actually not happy with the state of Nigeria. But as a person and organization here in South Africa, I've seen growth and progress, and we are not yet there, because one thing that bothers me most is the unity amongst Nigerians in diaspora.
Nigerians in South Africa say their hope is for a more united, prosperous and peaceful nation, one that continues to inspire pride both at home and across the diaspora. From Pretoria, South Africa, Innocent Semosa, Channels Television News.
Happy 65th Independence, Nigeria. Guests will be celebrating all month long. Thanks for watching The World Today. I'm Amarachi Ubali.